Gopi Jana Baba Girivardhari Gopi Jana Baba Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Shrimad's Divine Grace, Founder of Iskana Bhai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Shrimadbhagavatam Ki Their Most Merciful Lordship Shri Shri Kunja Bihari Ki Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Mahi Subhadra Ki Shri Nathaji Shri Balagopal Ki Shri Gauritai Ki Nitai Go Prem all glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Narasaiva Narottamam
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam
Saraswati Vyasam
Todayamadiraya Nasta Prashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistiki. We are reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, entitled Dhritarashtra Leaves Home. Dhritarashtra quits home. And we are on text 32, 33. So 32 does not have a purport. I'll quickly read the verse and the translation, and we'll go to text 33 together. Tatra Sanjayam Asinam Paprajo Dikvigna Manasa Kavalgane Kwanastato Vidhohinascha Nitrayo. Maharaj, translation. Maharaj Yudhisthira, full of anxiety, turned to Sanjaya, who was sitting there, and said, "Oh, Sanjaya, where's our uncle, who's old and blind?" Text 33. Amba cha ata putrarta Amba chaharta putrarta Pridvya Kwa Gata Surit Pidrivya Kwa Gata Surit Api Mai Akrita Pragne Api Maya Krita Pragne Ata Bandhu Sa Varyaya Ata Bandhu Sa Varyaya Asam Samana Samatam Asam Samana Samatam. Oh, sorry, Samalam. Gangayam Dukito Patat Gangayam Dukito Patat Ambachahata Putrarta Ambachahata Putrarta Pitrivya Kwa Gata Surit Pitrivya Kwa Gata Surit Api Maya Krita Pragne Api Maya Krita Pragne Hatta Bandhu Sabaryaya Hatta Bandhu Sabaryaya Asam Samala Samalam Asam Samala Samalam Gangayam Dukito Pata Gangayam Dukito Pata
Ambachahata Putrarta
Ambachahata Putrarta Pitrivya Kwa Gata Surit
Api Maya Krita Pragne
Api Maya Krita Pragne
Ata Bandhu Sabaryaya
Ata Bandhu Sabaryaya
Asam Samana Samalam
Asam Samana Samalam
Gangayam Dukitopatat.
Gangayam Dukitopatat. Ambachahata Putrata. Pitibhya Kvagata Sirit. Api Maya Krita Pradne. Ata Bandhu Sabaryaya. Asam Samana Samavam. Gangayam Dukitopatat.
Umbachahata Putrata.
Ambachahata Putrata.
Gata Surit.
Pitrivya Kvagata Surit.
Apima Karta Pajna.
Api Maya Krita Pragne.
Ata Bandhusa Varyaya.
Hata Bandhu Sabaryaya.
Asam Samana Samalam.
Asam Samana Samalam.
Gangayam Dukitopati.
Gangayam Dukitopatat. Ambachahata Putrata. Pitavya Kvagata Surit. Api Maya Krita Pragne. Hata Bandhu Sabaryaya. Asam Samana Samalam. Gangayam Dukitopatat. Amba, mother, aunt.
Mother aunt.
Cha, and Ataputra,
Ataputra.
who had lost all her sons.
Who had lost all her sons.
Arta,
Arta.
in a sorry plight.
In a sorry plight.
Pitrivya,
Pitrivya.
Uncle Vidura.
Uncle Vidura.
Kwa, where? Gita,
Gita.
gone. Surit,
Surit.
well-wisher. Api,
Api.
weather.
Weather.
Mai, unto me.
Unto me.
Akrita pragne,
Akrita Pragne.
ungrateful.
Ungrateful.
Ata bandhu,
Atabandhu.
one who has lost all his sons.
One who has lost all his sons.
Sa,
Sa.
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra.
Bharyaya,
Varyaya.
with his wife.
By his wife.
Asam samanaha,
Asam Samana.
in doubtful mind.
In doubtful mind.
Samalam,
Samalam.
of offenses.
Offenses.
Gangayam,
Gangayam.
in the Ganges water.
In the Ganges water.
Dukita,
Dukita.
Kita.
in distressed mind.
In distressed mind.
Apatat,
Apata.
fell down.
Fell down.
Ambachat putrarta pitrivya kvakata surit api maya krita pratne hata bandhu sabaryaya sam samana samalam gangayam dukito patat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abha Charnadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Where is my well-wisher Uncle Vidura, and my mother Gandhari, who is very afflicted due to all her sons' demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I'm very grateful. Did he therefore take my offenses very seriously, and along with his wife drown himself in the Ganges? Please repeat. Where is my well-wisher?
Where is my well-wisher?
Uncle Vidura
Uncle Vidura.
and Mother Gandhari,
Mother Gandhari.
who is very affected.
Who is
Very afflicted.
Yes, you got it right. Due to all her sons' demise.
Due to all her sons' demise.
My uncle Dhritarashtra
My uncle Dhritarashtra
was also very mortified
was also very
due
mortified
to the death of all his sons
due
to
to
the death of all his sons
and grandsons.
and grandsons.
Undoubtedly, I'm very ungrateful.
Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful.
Did he therefore take my offenses
Therefore, take my offenses
very seriously,
very seriously,
and along with his wife,
and along with his wife,
drown himself in the Ganges?
drowned himself in the Ganges.
Where is my well-wisher Uncle Vidura and Mother Gandhari, who was very afflicted due to all her sons' demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful. Did he therefore take my offenses very seriously, and along with his wife drown himself in the Ganges? Purport. The Pandavas, especially Maharaj Yudhisthira and Arjuna, anticipated the after effects of the battle of Kurukshetra. Therefore, Arjuna declined to execute the fighting. The fight was executed by the will of the Lord, but the effects of family aggrievement, as they had thought of it before, had come to be true. Maharaj Yudhisthira was always conscious of the great plight of his uncle Dhritarashtra and Aunt Gandhari, and therefore he took all possible care of them in their old age and aggrieved conditions. When therefore he could not find his uncle and aunt in the palace, naturally his doubts arose, and he conjectured that they had gone down to the water of the Ganges. He thought himself ungrateful because when the Pandavas were fatherless, Maharaj Dhritarashtra had given them all royal facilities to live, and in return he had killed all Dhritarashtra's sons in the battle of Kurukshetra. As a pious man, Maharaj Yudhisthira took into account all his unavoidable misdeeds, and he never thought of the misdeeds of his uncle and company. Dhritarashtra had suffered the effects of his own misdeeds by the will of the Lord, but Maharaj Yudhisthira was thinking only of his own unavoidable misdeeds. That is the nature of a good man and devotee of the Lord. A devotee never finds fault with others, tries to find his own, and thus rectify them as far as possible. Om Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshushun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tirthapada and I have developed a special relationship in the kitchen. So as we know, Vaishnava etiquette is that one is always blaming himself if he finds himself. And I'm always blaming Tirthapada. So I know a great Vaishnava never blames others for his own. But every time I find something missing in the kitchen, Tirthapada was always in the kitchen. He's the last one on my mind who's there, so I am always blaming him when I can't find something. And he always finds it for me and then points it out. It was either my doing or undue to his having misplaced something. But this brings out one of our own faults, is finding faults of others in others. And a lot of times what we are actually seeing is a reflection of a reminder of our very own weaknesses as well. So then we develop, by this etiquette and understanding, we develop the consciousness that when it appears to us as though it may be someone else's fault, we nevertheless take it upon ourselves as having somehow been the cause of our losing something or finding something. I wanted to, because I have made so many references to this particular song that Bhaktivinoda wrote that we sing during the 7 o'clock Artik, Sandhya Artik. that I wanted to read the translation, the meanings. And it's such a beautiful song. Tirthaprad also has such a beautiful voice to sing. Here is a guide to the Sanskrit pronunciation, which we can go through sometime when Brian is here.
What's the name of the song? Jayaramanava?
I know the name of this song. This is Gaur Artik. Jiva Jaya Jaya Gora Chandya. Okay, so in order to use the time that we have, I will read the translations because this is what we want to know clearly. All glories to the beautiful Artik ceremony of Lord Chaitanya. This Gaur Artik is being performed in a grove on the bank of the Ganges and is captivating everyone in the universe. Lord Gauranga's beautiful Artik is captivating everyone in the universe. O Lord Chaitanya, on Lord Chaitanya's right hand is Lord Nityananda, and on his left is Sri Gadadhar. Nearby stand Sri Advaita, and Srivas Thakur holds an umbrella over Lord Chaitanya's head. Lord Chaitanya has sat down on a jeweled throne, and Lord Brahma and the other demigods are performing his arti. As Narahari, Sadakar, and the other associates of Lord Chaitanya fan him with chamaras, Sanjay Pandit, Mukunda Dat, Bhakti Ghost, and other devotees swing sweet kirtan. Conch shells, bells, kartals resound, and the mridangas play very sweetly. This kirtan music is supremely sweet and relishable to hear. How extremely sweet is the sound of the conch shells and bells. The brilliance of Lord Chaitanya's face conquers millions upon millions of moons, and the garland of forest flowers around his neck shines. Lord Shiva, Sukadev Goswami, Narad Muni are all present, and their voices are choked with great ecstasy of transcendental love. Thus Bhaktivinoda beholds the glory of Lord Sri Chaitanya. See, this is what we are singing. Christians have within their repertoire of songs that they use to praise God with. Many, many songs of appreciation, right, for their own experience of having been transformed by the power of God's truth and come to the realization of their own sinful natures. And so, nevertheless, all these expressions that are being expressed in such a way, describing past experiences of human beings have in their frailties, nothing compares to the wondrous glory, this glory that is revealed by Lord Chaitanya, who is being actually given proper due respect, being the avatar for this age. So our songs in glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and bringing out in these songs all the various aspects of his own personalities are those kinds of songs that are being sung, those kinds of words of glorification of Krishna that are being spoken in the spiritual world as part of their singing experience there. Everything that's sung, everything that's spoken there is sung. It's a song. You're living an eternal song as a result of their previously gaining the experience of being able to recite these glorious, eternal truths which are put into song form, which these verses that we are singing are. Mm-hmm. And so in this, the soul itself coming to its own remembrance of things it once knew. This is what these mantras do to us. They restore into us not those memories created by these brains that we have been using in this particular incarnation. The original memory is that the soul has with it, and that is what knowing one's Sarup is. And that is brought about by one engaging in these activities. That's why we take such pleasure in these activities, because subtly the soul is day by day being reminded of the closeness of its service directly related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that we have been given the privilege to be able to serve the Suprememost Person, who is Krishna, who we see as Krishna. And see, as we see here with all the demigods taking a position themselves of worshiping that Supreme Person, look what position we are putting in them ourselves in. We are worshiping the same Supreme God that all these leaders of all the heavenly planets are themselves worshiping. It's Lord Chaitanya. So he is being worshipped by all the demigods in these verses. And this is how I have come to the conclusion that it's by all the demigods worshiping Lord Chaitanya. Also, they're going to liberate their systems, the leaders of their planets. And these demigods are in control of many planets, some of them. Those that have the upper planetary realms to dwell in, they have long time to be able to do that in. And they have the capabilities granted to them because of the bodies they are in, because of the previous activities they've engaged in, that Krishna has found pleasure in, to reward them with a life of the kinds of pleasures they were deserving of, that certain pride, just like we read in the Ekadasi book, that devotees have gained by simply following a fast on particular days. They have gained great boons, in some cases being returned to their loved ones who had previously left their bodies. So Krishna is revealing to us the nature of his personality, in that he is making so many ways available for human beings now to be able to go back to Godhead. And by the worship of all these demigods, just think about it. We can't help but realize he's going to bring the whole universe back to Godhead. Whole universe. So being the incarnation of the Yuga Dharma, Lord Chaitanya, he is bringing that to the whole universe. Now, this only prods me to think of that there was a time in which there was no material universe manifested. And so all that there is the spiritual world. I mean, in a sense, this area that we are now occupying was previously occupied by that space which was considered to be the eternal realm. And so once again, this area that we are occupying will once again be dissolved and burned. But that will be at the end of Lord Brahma's life. Lord Brahma lives for 311,400,000,000,000,000 times we go around the sun. And that's Lord Brahma's lifespan. And from the planet he's in, where he keeps track of time, that is 100 of his years. What confounds me about that is, on this planet, the lifespan in the most elevated age, which is Satya Yuga, in which all living beings on the planet are devotees of God except for one. There's one demon on the entire planet. But they live to be 100,000 of our years. So it seems peculiar to me. I'll put this forward as maybe a challenge for us to ask Krishna about, or to know or find out about, how it is that Lord Brahma is only living 100 of his years. He is the most exalted in the universe. Even though those 100 years is the whole lifespan of the entire universe, it's only 100 of his years. It would seem that Lord Brahma would be living the maximum amount of time any human being would be allowed, which he is. But how it's only being considered 100 of his years. Peculiar to me.
We don't track time correctly.
And so then you only have
Use the mind.
100 of years. So what we might question is, and what seems obvious is, if we are going to call the lifespan of Lord Brahma 100 years, means, in our minds, the way we conceptualize 100 years, he is conceptualizing 311,400,000,000,000 in the same length. See? And it is his consciousness according to the environment that he's in. So, if the soul is eternal, and the soul is the driving force in this body, which has been led to the point of entering into the eternal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, now its length of stay here is totally dependent upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Karma has no more determining factor on the length of stay a devotee has in this realm that he has a responsibility to fulfill in. By becoming a servant of Krishna, you thereby taking on that role of devotee. You take on as well the responsibility of giving what Krishna has given you to have this position of devotee of his. You are a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, they are the ones responsible for giving the knowledge that they have received from the Supreme Person to give it to others. That's what we have to do. And the most efficient way of doing that is by the distribution of these books. Because when we see the reward that human beings can receive in this human form of life, this very short period of time we spend here. Because at the end, I've gone 76 times around the world now, and I don't feel any different than when I was 16 years old. When I look forward to the future and length of days that I'm feeling like I need to complete what I have to do here, I don't see any shorter period of time left than I thought there was when I was 16 years old today. I don't see any difference. So it is consciousness, see, that these living entities who are on these upper realms are experiencing that is different from what we are experiencing because of the environment we're in. But here is a secret. A secret is secret. We got here by karma, right? We got to serve Krishna by Krishna's choice. So whatever result the karma was going to produce of us having to return into the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, having been removed from that, it is now up to Krishna how long we stay here. And he's giving us the means to develop the kind of consciousness to, with time, with this relationship we have with Krishna, is the relationship we have with time. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And so now, having that relationship with Krishna himself, he is the one who is going to determine when our job is finished. We may even develop the desire to leave before the time. See, because what happens, the tables turn around, everything that was once looked at as positive when we were not knowing Krishna, now by turning around and renouncing all those things we know led to our suffering and turning towards Krishna now, Krishna is giving us the facility of using everything in his service that's going to have an eternal effect, and we keep having that eternal effect on that which energy we as souls are engaged in, and it doesn't end then after this body is used up. But Krishna, as he did with Narada Muni, can take us in these self-same bodies. He can have us wash in that river that transforms us into women. There's another river that we can swim in that can make these bodies into such that demigods have. We can drink a nectar that can produce a body similar to that the demigods had, which is what Arjuna did, which is what Bhima did. Bhima gained the strength of 60,000 elephants. What is it? Yeah. He was given a nectar drink by his father. As many cups as he could drink. He drank 6 cups of it, slept for 6 days, and with the drinking of each cup, he gained the strength of 10,000 elephants. Now, we have an imaginary mind that we have had experiences of in this world of what an elephant is. It's not the same kind of elephant that those living entities who were taking part in the Battle of Kurukshetra, who were standing 12 feet tall, to them, in their minds, what an elephant was completely different than what it is, the size of what it is to us, even though what it is to us seems as big to us as their elephants did to them. They were 12 feet tall. So you see how all this environment is relative to the consciousness of the people who are put into that environment. And what Krishna is wanting to give us by developing the consciousness that he has is to be able to be prepared to be put into those higher realms. What to speak? The spiritual world. We're not right yet ready. This path is being given us to prepare us to be ready. Ready for anything. Fearless. Full of knowledge. With knowing that Krishna is the knowledge within us that we are full of. So Krishna, we are Satchidananda, Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. unlimited. But see, when we connect with Krishna, and he is wanting us to connect with him, where is the limitations then? If we act on our own, we have limitations. If we act on Krishna's behalf, there's no limitations anymore. Look what he gave the ability to Hanuman. And we're speaking day after Hanuman's glorious day. And I was remembering today how when Hanuman found Sita, the whole grove of bananas, and all the monkeys know at what stage of ripening the bananas are in. And those bananas that are the ripest, it's just like the honey that Lord Balaram drinks. They get drunk off of these bananas. And when Hayagriva, that's the name of Hanuman's captain. Hayagriva. When Hayagriva saw Hanuman coming back from his journey to try and find Sita, he immediately went to those celebrating bananas to get drunk off the bananas.
You said today is that day?
Huh?
You said today is that day?
No, yesterday.
Oh, yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Hanuman
Hanuman
Jayanti.
Jayanti.
Yeah. Yesterday was Hanuman Jayanti.
Hanuman Jayanti.
Oh.
So Hayagriva knew immediately when he saw, and he told Krishna, he said, Hanuman found him. He could tell just by the fact of Hanuman's body language, we call it, right? So body language is like omen, can be like omens too. And you see devotees excited for different reasons, and then you begin to be able to read body language. American society, through the criminal investigative section of society, has learned to read when people are lying. And they can read people's different bodily activities that they do due to the fact that they are lying, because there is what we call conscience that is built into all human beings. We are calling it conscience, but we are calling it supersoul. Roman Catholic priests hold the belief that it is our guardian angel, right, that it is with us. So in all cultures of the world, this concept of a supreme being having a means for us to be able to put into practice certain rites, ritualistic ceremonies, certain things to read, certain things to recite, maybe, certain things to sing about. In all the cultures of the entire world, through all the histories that we will find amongst all of them, they have this record of a connection to an original being, original soul. And Krishna is giving all the peoples of the world a connection with him, which is why he comes, and he says he comes. When the world gets put into such a place that that connection is going to be cut off, he comes to restore it again. And now he's saying the easiest way to experience the restoration is through calling out his names, calling out his energy, and calling out the pleasure potency that he is himself experiencing. God is happy with himself. In fact, he's overjoyed. In fact, he is so happy, the only word we have in the English language to describe the state of his existence is bliss.
Okay.
It's the substance. The substance he is bliss. And he's giving us the ability to realize what that bliss is. what we are made of, this self-realization, what it is. It's what self-realization is. If we can come to the place where we can absorb to the extent of it that these physical body encasings, these prison houses, enable us to. But there is a point we will get to when these bodies are not capable of holding it. This is what happened, and the Lord Chaitanya revealed this in his being absorbed into the body of the deity. But being Krishna, we don't seek to be absorbed in Krishna's body. Being Krishna can do these things. We don't look to imitate Lord Chaitanya, but we follow in the footsteps and the path that he has set forth for the devotees to follow. So we got here by already being in the body of Krishna. And the desire to be in that body is developed by people who want to be God. People who want to believe themselves to be the enjoyer, the controller, and to think of ourselves as something other than what we are. Because in our finest peak of achievement is being a servant to the Supreme Most Person there is. And he is offering this, making it available to every single soul there is. So even every living being we don't think has any means of serving Krishna. By the devotees' access to all these forms of life, there is a means for them to engage any form of life they find in Krishna's service. We use the leaves of a tree to make plates with, form cups with. We take plants and we make clothing with. This is all service to human beings, and that service that they provide to human beings that are engaged in the eternal energy, they gain eternal benefit by also. This is the nature of God's goodness. The same way he developed a way for human beings to recycle his own energy. We're drinking the same water that's been drunk by living entities over and over and over and over again. And every time you drink a fresh, clean drink, a glass of water, it's just as fresh and clean as pure as the first glass you ever drunk in your life, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
That perfect cycle Krishna has of allowing things, they have a beginning, they have an end, and then they have another beginning again, and everything's going in a circle like that. And then for those things in that circle, the souls that they are, covered over by the ignorance, by the desire to be the enjoyer. The ignorance is the covering of the false ego that keeps us from seeing the position we're actually in eternally. And by not seeing that, then we don't see our Swarup, because we don't envision ourselves as being in a position with an eternal person. If there's no such thing as God, right? Still, let's try and find someone better than Krishna. And find someone that can lift something with one little finger as big as Govardhan Hill. At the age of 5 years old. At the age of 5 years old. Remember that. I don't even think we can find someone to lift it at any age. Even after 10,000 years of living on the planet, if they develop strength lifting weights, they wouldn't have the ability to do that. He is the Supreme Most. Every one of his acts prove it, actually. Dancing on the head of a snake with 1,000 heads. Kaliya. And then bringing a snake of that nature whose very presence was so poisonous, nobody could drink out of that water anymore. And even coming close, people would die. So then Krishna brought him to a place of repentance. My dear Lord, everywhere I go, I can't, he's bringing death to all these souls, and he's feeling bad about it now. So how can Krishna feel anything but forgiveness towards him? See, he reveals this, that even in the nature of demons, there is a realization of its connection with the Supreme. We are all part and parcel, and there's none that are not included in this part and parcel of what we are. That's why, until everybody's brought back, when will that ever happen? Will there ever be a time when all the souls will be back in Vaikuntha? Is it expanding by them returning? If Vaikuntha is already eternal, can it expand? Is there such a thing as expanding? Huh?
It is fully.
Is eternal expandable?
Oh, it's infinity raised to the infinite power.
So let that thought open your consciousness up to new horizons where man has not tread before. That's what every revelation of reading Shrimadbhagavatam is doing to our consciousness, opening up our consciousness to the reality of the meaning of eternity, of being a substance that's indestructible, that can't be touched by anything in this material world, can't be bothered by it. And it can have all of its desires fulfilled and completely satisfied. See, knowing this, that keeps us on the path, wanting to follow, because each day is a greater reward. Every act you're engaging in is multiplying a bank account. You're kidding. We don't know that. Krishna's counting. Krishna's laws are set in such a way that automatically the accumulation is accrediting to your account. He doesn't have to keep count personally. He has energy automatically doing that for him. Isn't that amazing? Think about it, the way the laws are going. So from this perspective, everything is actually perfect already. Every living being is experiencing exactly what it should be experiencing according to the laws that Krishna has set in motion, which we call the laws of karma. No one is getting more than they deserve, no one getting less. Everything is happening. Srila Prabhupada's passing words. Everything is happening by the will and power of Krishna. Wouldn't you like to be able to say that when you leave this planet? Krishna is controlling everything. Yeah, that's the perspective we need. See, this is the example of a perfect life. Leaving with the same advice given his whole life to all those that he came in contact with. Leaving with that same meditational mood. I'm Krishna's servant, and Krishna's in control of everything. And when we come to that sublime understanding, we will know nothing can get in the way of Krishna's energy and the divine power of bhakti. That bhakti is. Bhakti, if it can move God, just think, and if God's all powerful, then how powerful is bhakti? And every soul is carrying with it the latent ability to perform bhakti, acts of bhakti. And we have to be the ones that give it to them, the ability, the possibility for them to be engaged, because nobody else can do it. You can do it, who hears the truth and knows the absolute truth of bhakti and its result. Then engaging others, that's the multiplying of the account. You're being accredited with everyone you tell that can benefit by it, it goes to your account. So, anyone want to comment? Correct me on anything? Argue with me about anything? Pose a question about anything? Give us a realization about it. You can hear I'm pleading for communion. I was going to say intercourse with the discussion with the audience.
Yeah, today is Good Friday, the day that Jesus was supposed to be crucified.
This is the day that Christians are saying that their Savior, who they named later Jesus, was put on he was nailed to a piece of wood.
Right, and he lived to be 33, right?
Lived to be,
30, they say 33. And the first
they say he died.
33.
They say he died, but it's questionable whether he died or not. Because the people that came to that tomb came with ointments for healing, not for embalming, for healing.
Right.
And then not much longer after they came, there was a witness named Mary Magdalene who found him awake. And then 100 days after she had that experience, she was proclaiming it to others. And there was one among them that doubted it. And when he declared his doubting, among them he stood up and was there, and they didn't even know it was him until he spoke. Come here, Thomas, and put your fingers in my palms. Put your hand in my side where they pierced me with a sword. And he had just 100 days earlier told Mary, which she was telling this to a crowd of people, that he had told her he could not be touched because he had not yet ascended. Now, here he is telling Thomas, come and touch me. And so this is evidence. If these words are true, if this account is a fact, that means he ascended and returned. Already done. 100 days after he was accredited with having left his body, he already returned. Now, if the account that some have from Ethiopia is true, then his ossuary, or the place where his body is now residing after 111 years, after his heart stopped beating, is there with his 3 wives, Salome, Mary Magdalene, and Mary.
Other Mary.
Mary's the mother of Jesus.
No, he didn't marry her.
Oh, Mary Magdalene was his wife.
Mary Magdalene was a wife, Salome was a wife, and there was another Mary that was a wife. So, what Christians are looking forward to is coming, but if it's going to be him to be the one, he's going to have to come back in another body. It's already gone and come back, and there is no mention of his coming back a second time. Came back already a second time. So it'll be the third time. So what we are seeing, if Vaishnava principles do take over the world, which Srila Prabhupada said they will for the next 10,000 years, Hridayananda Maharaj, who wrote 11th, 12th cantos,
Hridayananda
Hridayananda Maharaj, told us in a conversation here that Ashwatam is going to be the next in the position to give Bhagavatam. Krishna is going to give him that position, and I don't know if that will be to be emperor of the world, but there will come a true emperor of the world. Maybe it won't happen until this golden age is more towards its peak.
Yeah.
We are told the time is coming in which children will be born with the perfection of the cities. That means they will be able to fly. They will be able to produce anything they want. Just by saying and speaking it comes into existence. You can reach out into places and pull it from anywhere. You can read minds. You can become smaller than the smallest. They can become bigger than the biggest. So many abilities are there, and they will be born with those abilities. How? Because they will be by the mother and father. They will be calling them from the heavenly planets, who themselves are adorned with many of these qualities, and some of them come specialized. So we have movies about such kinds of beings that dwell in planetary systems beyond the realm that we are in now. And this is Srila Prabhupada said, you can't make anything up that doesn't actually exist. And if that's true then these planetary systems do have ability to fly within each other's regions in their flying machines. And we have account in Bhagavatam written 5,000 years ago of flying machines. So these things are not anything new, and they are far more advanced today than they were then. And if they were visiting other planets 5,000 years ago, just advanced. How advanced are they today? So I've gone over class now.
No, it's okay, Captain. Keep on going.
Over time.
It's cool.
But if anyone has any comments or any questions, be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Guru. Thanks,
John.
You, Captain.
John. Shrimadbhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada,